Alright guys, so brace CF48, we're going to be doing a full card prediction for this fight card. On the main event, a lightweight fight, we have a 165-pound catchweight fight, a lot of 165-pound fights. We have a 194-pound catchweight fight right here, basically a light heavyweight fight, just about. We have a lot of good fights on the fight card. We're going to look at the first fight of the night. We're doing every single one of these 13 fights on the fight card, and this first fight right here, Ali Akuba and Ramiro. I'm going to say it right now, Ali Akuba has the wrestling advantage, has the grappling advantage, doesn't have any pro MMA fights, but has a lot of amateur fights. Has won most of them by decision, just dominated the fight on the ground, using his wrestling and grappling to win his fights. So Ramiro definitely the kickboxer, definitely the striker in the fight, so it's basically grappler versus a wrestler slash grappler right here. So Ramiro the striker in the fight, Ali Akuba, the grappler and wrestler in the fight, and Ali Akuba has a lot more experience than Ramiro as an amateur, and I think his wrestling is going to be too much for Ramiro to handle in the fight, so I'm going to be going with Ali Akuba to win his fight by decision. In Kosin Debele, he is definitely the striker in the fight. I'm not going to say the name right here, but this guy right here is definitely the grappler in the fight, and an amazing grappler. I'm definitely going with him to win his fight, because he has so many submission wins. In Kosin Debele has a lot of good takedown defense, but I think Masate has way too good takedowns. Get the fight to the ground as soon as possible, get a submission. In my opinion, that submission, grappling, and wrestling background is going to be way too much for the amazing striker right here to handle. So I'm going to be going with this guy right here to win his fight by submission in the second round. George Ide and Ali Santahari. All you gotta do right now for this fight is look at Ali Santahari. This man is an absolute beast. Look at this right here. 5 submission wins, 3 knockout wins, and 3 decision wins. In the striking for this fight, I would think the striking is pretty even. Maybe give a slight edge to Ali Santahari in the fight. But Ali Santahari has such good submission skills, such good grappling, and such good wrestling. I think that's gonna be the factor in the fight, because the striking is so even. So when he needs to in the fight, he could take the fight to the ground and get a submission, get a TKO on the ground. But I think this fight's gonna go all the way. And I have Ali Santahari winning his fight by decision. Should be a very good welterweight fight. Then we have a 194-pound catchweight fight. And all I have to say, undefeated Murtaza Taliah, 2 wins and 0 losses. A lot of amateur fights. This basically sums up his career. First round knockout, second round knockout, first round knockout, second round submission, first round knockout, first round knockout. Come on, man. This dude is an absolute beast. As a pro and as an amateur, has a record of 14 wins and 0 losses. So much experience as an amateur fighter. Cameron, I'm not going to say the last name, not really sure how to pronounce it, but not the best amateur career, not as much experience as Ali has. So, Ali with that striking advantage, with the grappling advantage, literally wherever this fight goes, Murtaza Taliah is just going to have the advantage. I think it's very likely we see a finish. A lot of people are saying he's going to get a knockout or TKO in the fight. It's very likely we see KO or TKO, but I think Murtaza Taliah is going to win the fight by unanimous decision. Then we get, oh my god, dude, this is so easy. Such an easy prediction for the 130-pound fight. I'm 100% going with Maisara Mohammed to win his fight. 4 wins, 0 losses. Come on, look at this. Literally everyone's saying he's going to win his fight. Look at it. Look at his last couple of fights. 4-0 as an amateur, went 2-0. Decision win, first round knockout, second round knockout, first round knockout, and third round knockout. Man, this dude's an absolute beast. I'm going to say it right now. He's going to win the fight by first or second round knockout. That man is an absolute beast. He's definitely winning his fight. Alright, so the next fight on the fight card, we have a featherweight fight. And I'm going to say it right now, striker and grappler, Hussein Salam is the grappler in the fight. Suliman is definitely the striker in the fight. Literally, all you have to do is look at this. 5 knockout wins, 1 submission win, and 2 decision wins. He has a lot of power in that right hand. Hussein Salam, 100% the grappler in the fight. 5 submission wins, 2 decision wins, and 1 knockout win. His losses, 2 by submission and 1 by decision, and then 1 by DQ. Not really sure what happened there. It really depends on if Suliman can keep the fight on the feet. If he can, he's going to win the fight by knockout or decision. If Hussein Salam can get the fight to the ground, he's gonna get the win by submission or decision. But Suliman has really good takedown defense, has really good kickboxing, really good boxing in his background, and he also has some pretty good submission skills himself. So even if the fight goes to the ground, he still can handle himself against Hussein Salam. But Suliman, I think if he can get the fight on the feet, which I think he will, I think he can dominate the fight on the feet and get a 30-27 decision in the fight, maybe even a knockout. But I think this one's gonna go all the way, and I have him winning the fight by decision. The next fight, Muhammad Jorabi versus Aslam Abdullah. This fight is a middleweight fight. Look at this. Come on. Oh my god. Out of 100 votes, basically 94% going with Basset to win the fight. And just look at him. This man is an amazing wrestler, has a lot of power in his hands, 10 wins and only 2 losses. And then his opponent, Mohamed Gorabi on a 2-fight losing streak has a horrible record of 6 wins, 5 losses. 34 years old, on a 2-fight losing streak. His last fight, literally 3 years ago. I mean, this prediction is probably the easiest prediction I have to make on the fight card, especially because Mohamed Gorabi is moving up from the welterweight to the middleweight division. I mean, Aslam Abdullah said this man's an absolute beast. 5 knockouts, 3 submissions, and 2 decisions. His losses are mainly coming by submission and decision. I mean, honestly, wherever the fight goes, it's going to be an absolute domination. So I'm going with Aslam Abdullah to win by any means necessary. I think he wants to get another knockout on his record, take the fight to the ground, and get a TKO victory in the fight. That is my prediction. I have Aslam Abdullah winning his fight by TKO in the first or second round. And then we go to the top 6 fights on the fight card. Hasan Fakher versus Abdul Menem. This fight is a middleweight fight. Very interesting fight here. It's pretty spread out right here. Decision, submission, and KO and TKO. Fakher 2 wins and 0 losses. No amateur fights. Just pro fights. He got a second round Dr. Stoppage in a first round Americana submission. His opponent has a very, very long name right here. 2 wins, 0 losses as well. Has 1 amateur fight, which he won by second round knockout. He got a decision win and a first round submission win. This is a really, really close fight, in my opinion. Both fighters have really, really good grappling. This is really going to be a very good grappling fight. Or it's going to be a really not too good striking fight. Because when you have 2 guys who are really good grapplers, you don't really see them try to get the fight to the ground. Because I mean, who has the advantage? No one really knows who has the advantage in the fight, so I think both fighters are going to be looking to keep the fight on the feet and see who has the better striking, because the grappling is really, really even. And I think Hasan Fakher has a little bit better striking, so I think that will be the one thing that gets him the edge in the fight, and I think he'll win the fight by decision, just keeping the fight on the feet whenever he has to, taking the fight to the ground, but most likely he's going to win the fight by unanimous decision. Now to the top 5 fights on the fight card. Omar El Dafrai versus 0-1 Abbas Khan. I mean, when you got a guy that's 0-1, in his last amateur fight, he ended up losing by second round guillotine choke submission. Had an okay amateur career, but 0-1 as a pro, not the best. I got to admit, it's not the best. But Omar El Dafrai, 5 wins, 1 loss. He's been looking really, really good. Second round guillotine, first round knockout, third round triangle. He's been looking really, really good. Two knockout wins, 2 submission wins. His only loss coming by knockout. I mean, to be quite honest, I think this one's going to be a domination. And just like all these people right here are saying, I think he's going to go out there and dominate the fight on the feet and get a takedown at the end of the first round and just go for an armbar. I think this one's going to end by first round armbar submission for Omar El Dafrai to get his first win. But yeah, I definitely have Omar El Dafrai winning his fight by armbar submission. But yeah, I definitely have Omar winning his fight by armbar submission. And then after that, Youssef Garari, if I'm saying the name correctly, versus Hasan Talal. This fight is a featherweight fight. And look at this. So many people think this fight is gonna be a finish. And I think so too. Hasan Talal coming out his first ever loss as a professional fighter to a very, very good fighter. 6 wins and only 1 loss. Lost the fight by rear naked choke submission. Before that, beat an undefeated fighter by second round knockout. Got a first knockout and a decision win. This dude is an absolute beast. His opponent, let's check how he wins his fights. He has 6 wins by knockout and 1 win by decision. His losses all coming by decision. Never been finished as a professional fighter. So both fighters tend to finish every single one of their fights by KO or TKO. And I definitely think this fight is also gonna end by KO or TKO. Hasan Talal, I mean, he has so much power in his hands, and so does Youssef. So it really just depends on who lands first. This is a really hard prediction to make, but I'm gonna sort of lean towards Hasan Talal to win his fight. So I'm definitely gonna be going with Hasan Talal to win his fight by TKO in the second round. That should be a very, very entertaining fight, because that one is 100% gonna be a finish in the first, second, or third round by KO or TKO. But then we have a very good flyweight fight, 125 pounds. Magomed Idrisov versus Michael Al-Jarouj, if I'm saying the names correctly. 23.5 years old and 27.5 years old. These are the tabletop predictions right now. Pretty spread out. They're mainly going with Israel to win his fight. But Michael, I don't know how to say the last name, so I'm just gonna say the first name. But Michael, 7 wins, 3 losses. If you look at how he wins his fights, 3 knockout wins, 3 submission wins, and 1 decision win. His losses, 1 knockout loss and 2 decision losses. Let's look at how many fights that he's had inside of Brave CF. No fights inside of Brave CF. This is his first fight inside of Brave CF. While this guy right here, Magomed Idrisov, this is his second fight inside of Brave CF. His first fight, he dominated with a decision win over John Chris Corton. Before that, was an amateur fighter, had a record of 9 wins and 3 losses. A very, very interesting amateur record. Let's check right here. How he lost most of those amateur fights. He lost all of his amateur fights by decision. He won most of those fights by decision, got a submission win, a knockout win. As a pro, all of his wins coming by decision. His only one win. In this fight, I'm gonna say that it's gonna stay on the feet. I think this one is gonna be a very, very good striking fight between these two guys. But Magomed Idrisov has some pretty good wrestling background, so when he wants to in the fight, could take the fight to the ground and maybe get a submission in the fight. But I think this one's gonna go all the way. And Idrisov really impressed me in his last fight that he won around 5.5 months ago. So I'm going to be going with Idrisov to win his fight in his second fight inside of Brave CF. I'm going to go with him to win his fight by decision, 30-27 on all judges' scorecards. And then we go to the co-main event, Ahmad Labed versus Nemanja Kovac. This fight is a 165 catchweight fight. And guys, Nemanja Kovac, man, this dude's on an amazing win streak. Look at this. Everyone is saying that this man is going to win the fight, and I think so as well. This dude's an absolute beast. 13 wins and 3 losses. Lost 3 fights in a row. Before that, was on a 7-fight win streak. Most of the wins coming by finish. First knockout. Third round leg kick KO. Third round knockout. 3 decision wins. Lost 3 fights in a row by knockout. Third round knockout. Second round knockout. First round knockout. Decision win. First round knockout. I mean, that's absolutely insane. His opponent, he wins most of his fights. Let's check right here. By knockout. 8 wins by knockout. 2 wins by submission. And 1 win by decision. His losses mainly coming by decision. And in this fight, I'm going to say it right now. Ahmad Labed is either going to get a knockout or dominate the fight on the feet and get a decision. And Nemanja Kovac is most likely going to win this fight by decision. If you look at how he mainly wins his fights, most of his wins coming by KO as well. So I think it's very likely one of these two guys gets a knockout in the first or second round. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Nemanja Kovac, his first fight inside of Brave CF, I think he's going to get that knockout in his first fight here inside of Brave CF. And after this win, by first or second round knockout, I think he's going to get a main event fight inside of Brave CF. I think this is going to be a dominant performance, and I think he's going to land a good right hand that's going to put Ahmad down. And that's my prediction. Nemanja Kovac getting a first or second round knockout in the co-main event of Brave CF 48. And guys, we have finally made it. We just did 12 fights on this Brave CF 48 fight card, and we have finally made it to the main event, a lightweight fight. This is a pretty easy prediction for me to make. Elias Dijeron, I mean, this dude's an absolute beast. 17 wins and 6 losses in the prime of his career, 28 years old and 10 months old, 5 foot 10 inches tall, has a reach of 71 inches. Just look right here, 88% going with Dijeron to win his fight. Abdurrahman Makhaziev, if I'm saying the name correctly, 8 wins by submission and 1 win by knockout. His opponent, a little bit different, has a little bit better striking in his background. Second round, 2 knockout wins, 9 submission wins, and 6 decision wins. 2 very good submission guys. But the fact that Dijeron has a better striking game may end up winning him this fight. This fight is a 3-round main event. So the fight on the ground, the submission, the grappling is going to be very, very even. But because Dijeron has that striking advantage, I think that he's going to win the fight by decision. It could be a knockout. We could see a submission in the fight. A lot of people think that Dijeron is going to get a knockout in the fight. It's very possible that we see a knockout in the fight. It's very possible that Makhachev gets a submission in the fight. But I'm going to say the fight's going to go all the way, and Dijeron is going to dominate the fight on the feet, and it's going to be very even on the ground. But overall, I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a 29-28 decision for Elias Dijeron to win the fight by 29-28 unanimous decision. So that is the full card prediction for this Brave CF 48 fight card. If you guys disagree on any of these predictions, put your predictions in the comment section below. But if you guys forgot some of the predictions I made, I have him winning his fight. I have Nemanja Kovac winning his fight. I have Magomed Idrisov winning his fight. I have Hasan Talal winning his fight. I have Omar El Dafrai winning his fight. I have Hasan Fakher winning his fight. I have Aslam Abdullah winning his fight. I'm not really sure how to say his name, but I definitely have him winning his fight. I have Mysora Muhammad winning his fight. I have Murtaza Taliah winning his fight. I have Ali Santahari winning his fight. I'm not sure how to say his name again, but I have him winning his fight. And then I have Ali Akuba winning his fight. An amazing fight card right here. Again, if you disagree with any of these predictions, Put your prediction in the comments below. If you guys like my predictions for Brave CF 48, we're going to be doing every single Brave CF prediction. There's a lot more Brave CF fight cards coming up in a couple of weeks. We have Brave CF 49 and Brave CF 50 coming up. So if you guys do not want to miss that, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, and this is it for the video. I'm out of here. Let's go!